Falcon fan? This is Barbara Kondo coming back at you with another video. So we're less than 48 hours away from the NFL negotiating period to start for free agency, which is going to be Monday at 4 p.m. on March 13th. Of course, we know the new league year is going to be March 15th. So we're going to talk about today is what the Atlanta Falcons possibly could do to consider to be a successful offseason to start in free agency for the Atlanta Falcons. What would that look like according to me? And I would definitely like to hear your guys' opinion, what you think a successful start to the offseason would be for the Atlanta Falcons, considering the free agency is upon us. Like I said, less than 48 hours away. Guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like to hear I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So guys, like I said, get right into it. What would be a successful start to the NFL offseason 2023 for the Atlanta Falcons? So let's just say they already started. They already had signed 3 guys. They started Parker Helsey, like Liam McCullum back, and they signed Lorenzo Carter. All right, 3 guys, definitely depth pieces to add to the positions. No splash signings for those guys. Right now, the Atlanta Falcons are sitting at $62 million in cap space, the second most in the league this year going into the offseason. We already know one thing has happened to kind of shake up the offseason is the Carolina Panthers, who was sitting at number 9 in the draft, has traded their number 9 pick to the Chicago Bears for some draft compensation and their number 1 receiver in DJ Moore to move up to get a quarterback. Possibly. I mean, honestly, we know that's what they're moving up for, to get a quarterback. We don't know which quarterback they're going to get. However, it's big implications for the Atlanta Falcons. So the NFC South, we know that the New Orleans Saints have Derek Carr. The Carolina Panthers definitely is going to roll with a rookie quarterback, especially going to number 1. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got Kyle Trask right now in tow at their starter. And the Falcons definitely believe in Desmond Ridder, but we don't know if that's going to be their guy. So right now, looking at this NFC South, I still say it's up for grabs for the Atlanta Falcons to make big splash moves here in this offseason. But we just what it's going to actually look like for these guys. So to start off, let's just say from the day one when Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot definitely came into this franchise, it sounds like they had a plan to what they need to do to have this team to be successful, not only for the immediate building the culture, trying to make the team competitive, but also what the team was going to look like in the future. We won't have to rehash all the salary cap things that they went through, but it sounds like their plan to get to where they want to be is working out for them, and now it's finally coming in through fruition for these guys. Obviously, it looks like the plan kind of got knocked off last year when they actually went after Deshaun Watson. I think that had more to do with the owner, having a relationship with Deshaun Watson more than the Atlanta Falcons actually trying to pursue him. But it seems like their plan is still intact. Of course, we can definitely see that with the quick news that they was definitely not going to pursue the talented young NFL MVP from NFLP, Lamar Jackson. They're going to stick to their plan, despite where a lot of fans feel about that. I think it's good to stick to your plan unless something to drastically change, something just fall in your lap. But it seems like the Atlanta Falcons definitely have a plan, and we just have to let this plan play out and see what it's going to look like at the end, right? That's the whole idea of what the Atlanta Falcons got to do. However, we know some of the things that they want to do, and for me, I think the first thing for them to start, for be successful, is to start on the defensive side of the ball in free agency. They have to be cap responsible. I know that they already talked about that, but do they go out and make splash signings to actually improve this defense right away? Right? Guys like Jesse Bates has already been linked to the Atlanta Falcons on numerous occasions. We have seen the tea leaves. He's having dinner with some of the Atlanta Falcon players. Of course, they have the same agent, so you can't buy too much into that. But he is a free agent. He's one of the best safeties on the free agent market. And if he have interest in the Atlanta Falcons have interest in him, and they can come up to a good negotiation, I would see that's somewhere they can actually build on the defense. Especially one of the things that they really need to work on is the secondary. I think getting a playmaker in the secondary with a guy like Jesse Bates, who's still real young, 26 years old, so you can sign him to a long-term deal, and he could be a staple to this defense for a while to come. So I think this would be a good signing for the Atlanta Falcons, boosting up that secondary to actually solidify it. We like the potential that we have seen in Richie Grant in his first 2 seasons, but bringing a guy in like Jesse Bates, who has really played well his entire career so up to now, definitely come in and bring that veteran presence to the secondary, and also that playmaking ability just the Atlanta Falcons just don't have at that position, right? So that would be boosting up the secondary. You go to the next level, the linebacker. There's certain linebackers out there the Falcons could definitely target. Tremont Evans, Levante David, guys to consider. You can go to some of the lesser guys, known guys, like in New Orleans, got some guys definitely have ties to Terry Fontenot and Ryan Nielsen. They can actually bring in at that position as well. But linebacker would definitely be something that they can look at. Would they consider bringing back Rashaan Evans? A long-term deal, yet to be seen about that. But these are some of the other position that they definitely can go in, and that would be the second level of the defense, the linebackers. We do like Troy Anderson. So we just have to know what the Atlanta Falcons want to add next to him. They're going to add a veteran presence. Tremaine Evans probably would be somebody that might be out their price range coming in, because he's definitely going to probably be a big price tag. But the Atlanta Falcons, what are they willing to do? What priorities do they have for their defense? Is it the secondary? Is it the linebacker room? Or is it the last spot that I think we all agree is the interior defensive line? And since a guy like Daron Payne is off the board, would you go out and invest in a guy like Javon Hargrave, who's, yes, he's 30 years old, but if you look at his production from last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, definitely still a productive player. You would probably give him a shorter term deal, but pairing him up with a guy like Grady Jarrett definitely would be something that Atlanta Falcons should consider. The price tag would definitely be a little bit higher, but we don't know their plan, right? We have to understand that are they trying to go make splash signings, or are they gonna try to sign a lot of guys to these middle term deals and add depth instead of big name guys off the bat? We really have to see what they decide to do. In my opinion, I think they should at least sign 2 big name guys. Jesse Bates and Javon Hargrave would definitely be 2 enormous signing for the Atlanta Falcons. Would definitely take their team to another level, in my opinion, especially on the defense side of the ball. Putting a guy like Javon Hargrave beside Grady Jarrett would just be a monster for both of those guys in the middle. And then you pair that with a guy, uprising guy like Taquan Graham. This defensive line could definitely be something that opposing offenses definitely would not want to see. The young rookie coming out from Carolina, Derek Carr, Kyle Trask, division really be in trouble if we was to be able to compare a guy like Javon Hargrave and Grady Jarrett together. And then to put a guy like Jesse Bates, who's definitely somebody can cover up the deep passing game for the Atlanta Falcons, and especially the way that the Ron Nielsen, we think he's going to run his defense, putting that too high safety, Richard Grant and Jesse Bates being back there, two good playmakers in the backfield, along with our great corners on the outside. Right now, we got Casey Hayward out there, who's still really good, savvy veteran, and then of course we got AJ Terrell on the other side. Potentially bringing back Isaiah Oliver would be that nickel guy. But I think the secondary will be solidified with a guy like J.C. Bates, like Jalen Hawkins at that depth to the room. But J.C. Bates is definitely somebody that they could consider. So on the defense side of the ball, in my opinion, if the Falcons was to go out and sign two splash guys in the secondary and on the defensive line, definitely will be something they should consider. Or on the defense, do they decide to go pass rusher? The Indianapolis Colts release Yannick Ngakoue, whatever, you guys know what his name is. But one of the guys whose his whole career has never had less than 8.5 sacks. So the last time the Atlanta Falcons had a guy that had that many sacks, it was back when Vic Beasley was there. So bringing in a guy like that, that had that production. Not sure the fit, because we don't really know the ideal of defense that Ron Nielsen's going to try to run. The only reference we have to go off of is what he did with the New Orleans Saints. But at the same time, that doesn't mean he's going to run that type of offense. And if you look at some of the kind of players the Atlanta Falcons already have on their roster, like an Armor Ebiketie, who's a little not as big as a defensive end that they deployed in New Orleans, and then they re-signed Lorenzo Carter as well. So it kind of tell you that it might not be the same type of defense. So a guy like Yannick Ngakoue definitely be somebody that they can definitely sign with that potential to come in and have that pass rush that Atlanta Falcons haven't had. Maybe he could teach our two young pass rushers and Ebiketie and Malone, how to be better at getting to the passer. So that's one of the things that definitely could see. He's only 28 years old, so he can sign a little longer term deal if they wanted to. But on the defense side of the ball, those are the kind of splash signings they could sign. Definitely can go out and get guys that's with lesser known names and build depth that way. But if the Atlanta Falcons really want to make splash, because they do have the money, go out and sign. Like I said, they signed two splash and then build a team with depth on the other ends, or some lesser known guys. There's a lot of guys that just got released. If you go back and look at the list, you could definitely look at the Atlanta Falcons have a lot of options of guys that on the defensive side of the ball that they could definitely bring in. Right. Also, what we definitely would want to look at is the offensive side. The first thing that comes to mind to me is probably a veteran quarterback to bring in to play alongside Desmond Ridder, not just to be a backup, but that's also actually to challenge him for that starting role. He would be named the starter, but at the same time, you want him to know that a guy that we bring in is potentially could actually take his spot if he's not playing up to par or not just going to take over that starting position as he should. One guy come to mind is a guy like Jacoby Brissett come in and challenge a guy like Desmond Ridder for that starting role. He's a perfect backup quarterback. I think he would fit into the Arthur Smith scheme. Veteran guy who has been a backup before, so he understands that role. Not so hungry to actually be a starter, but if he had to, he definitely could come in and fit that mold. Another guy, maybe Taylor Heineke, guy that had a lot of big games for the Commanders over the last couple of years, but not a starter in this league, definitely a backup, but come in and play some spot minutes. Maybe not push Desmond Ridder to a guy like like a Jacoby Brissett, but another veteran to come in, actually got a lot of playing time in this league. But definitely I expect them to bring in a veteran quarterback to play behind Desmond Ridder. The last thing is a second caliber receiver to go alongside Drake London. Of course, you just seen that the New York Giants release their receiver, and then Slayton is also out there. So two potential receivers that the Atlanta Falcons could definitely target. The receiver free agent market is not that deep, so a lot of these guys might get overpaid. I definitely don't think the Atlanta Falcons is going to overpay at that position. However, the draft at the wide receiver position is not that deep as well. So a lot of guys probably going to be able to get more than probably what they're worth, considering the market for wide receivers. But the Atlanta Falcons definitely need to invest in this, second wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons to go alongside Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and to give guys like Desmond Ridder more targets. So the offensive side of the ball, in my opinion, they definitely need to make sure they get a backup quarterback, a second caliber receiver to go side Drake London, and then we can't forget offensive line. Of course, they did not franchise tag Kaleb McGary. Kind of felt that franchise tag would be too much of a price tag for him. He actually earned, he really played well this last season, but over his career, he's been up and down. So I feel the Falcons didn't feel like he actually was, rated that actual payday that he was searching. So we're gonna let him test the market. Maybe he come back, maybe he don't. But there are offensive tackles the Falcons definitely pull out in the draft if need be. Also, that left guard position is still in question. We have been trying to fill that spot for the last couple of years here with this regime. Hopefully this year, maybe in free agency, they can solidify that position. A lot of offensive linemen got cut. If you just go back and look for different teams, everybody trying to get up on the cap. We know they have to be up under the cap before the new league year at 4 p.m. on the 15th. So, guys, releasing guys. Go out and look at the top free agents out there. There's a lot of big names guys out there. And the Atlanta Falcons need to be strategic. They need to make sure they go out and pick the right guys. It's going to be interesting, but in my opinion, on the offensive side, would make it a good signing start for these guys is to get that backup quarterback solidified and the second receiver solidified. Offensive line, we could go there as well, but for me, it's quarterback and the receiver, and then we have to make sure we address the offensive line either through the draft or later on in the free agency. That's what I see for the Atlanta Falcons, and based on what they do starting this week coming up, it definitely tell us the direction they potentially go in the draft. Maybe they go offensive line, like I just mentioned, go offensive tackle at that number 8 position, or maybe they go defensive back to bring somebody a younger end to go aside AJ Terrell, or maybe they go pass rush again and bring in another pass rusher, even though they went there last year. Can't never have enough guys to actually rush the passer. However, they might get lucky and a guy like Jalen Carter might drop down the board, and then he might be sitting there at number 8 as well, and you could bring a guy like him in to actually go aside Grady Jarrett. Not as proven as a guy like Javon Hargrave, but the potential is there. You have him on a rookie deal, potentially 5 years under rookie if you pick up his fifth-year option, and that tandem could definitely be a monster for years to come. So I'm really, really interested to see what the Falcons going to do this offseason. I'm excited. 48 hours away It's going to get started. We're going to hear all these names popping up. And, for a long time, the Atlanta Falcons, at the start of the new league year, the Atlanta Falcons had to just sit back and wait because they did not have money. I think we're going to be hearing a lot from the Atlanta Falcons right at the start this year because of the funds they have. I don't expect them to go out and, overpay guys like what happened to Christian Kirk last year. I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars was really, really, really aggressive. But there you can see the improvements on their team. They went out and got the guys they want. I feel like the Atlanta Falcons need to have the simpler approach. Maybe not overpay, like I said, but make sure that they go out and get the guys that they want and target those guys. They got the second most money in the NFL, and they need to take advantage of having that kind of leverage this season going. I think this is an important season for this regime. Like I mentioned in the last video, I don't think they are on the hot seat, but when you have the ability to improve your team to the way the Atlanta Falcons have, where they have shown that they can be competitive with the team they have put together in the last 2 years, and having the ability to go out and upgrade the team this year, I think is really, really good for these guys. So, guys, with that being said, let me know what you think would be a successful start. And I mean start because the offseason is long. We have to calculate the draft as well, to have the complete offseason. But to start offseason, especially the free agency about to kick off here in less than 48 hours, what would you like to see the Atlanta Falcons do going into the start of free agency? What splash moves that you anticipate on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball? And this is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.